Please welcome my good friend Andrew Orvedahl, everybody. You brought another one? He's a pro. Use this one. I brought it from home. That's how professional I am. Adam Caden Holland, everybody. Sweet. Don't get that excited. God, I hate people who make jokes and people break something, and I just did it. I'm done. I just retired from comedy. Made a joke. They're like, job opening, you know, that dipshit. And whenever somebody drops a glass, I fucking hate that shit. And I just did it. All right. We'll move past it. I have other jokes. I don't just wait for people to break glasses. Luckily. Do you all hear screaming? Okay, just making sure. Just making sure we're all on board. I don't like to perform comedy if I'm the only one hearing the screaming. If we can all hear it, yeah, I'll go ahead and tell some jokes. We'll just have some sort of apocalyptic set while the world goes to shit right above us, which could definitely be happening. But if it was just me, I'd probably take a break. That'd be difficult. No, just me with the screams. Lanny's Hobo Hideout. So this would be a cool place to weather an apocalypse, you know, I think. Nobody knows it's down here. I think we'd be all right. We just rig the stairs with like some sort of Ewok-type lumber trap. Would be fine. We'll just eat cheese plates and drink, and then we'll be dead in about 4 days. But there'll be lots of entertainment. And now there's screaming down here. Okay, cool. It's just an enthusiastic employee, probably, who just got a raise or something. Hopefully. There's something way cooler going on over there, and now we all want to see it. When I was driving down here, I saw the worst invention I've ever seen. I've seen it all over downtown. It's a truck, like any other truck, but instead of a back that can like carry things that you can load on, it just has a billboard on the back. It's a truck that just drives fucking advertising around, and that's its only purpose. And I saw that, and I was like, this is going to be such a funny story 40 years from now when we're all like huddled with our grandchildren in caves hiding from Chinese predator drones. What a funny story about how much gasoline we used to have that we drove posters around. It's going to be hard. They're not going to believe it. They're not gonna Yeah, well, we just did. We know everybody hated advertising, but we still drove it around. I know. It doesn't make any sense. But that's what we did because we were insane. Anyway, maybe it's like natural gas vehicle, like that makes it okay. Oh, it's a different type of fuel that we're wasting. Okay, cool. That's fine. Guys, I need you to sign my Greenpeace petition before you leave. Sorry. I'm one of those annoying 16th Street Mall clipboard people that just happen to come down here under the guise of a comedy set. Surprise, everybody! Those people are the worst. The clipboard people. The problem with the clipboard people is it's always a great cause. It's like, hey, got a second for the environment? What's the response to that? Like, the environment killed my mother. Fuck you. Like, there's nothing you can say. And your only response is, no, I'm just an asshole. That's basically. And they always get you at the wrong place. Like, you're in line to buy like a $7 reindeer hot dog. I'm like, I don't have any money, so I only have hot dog money. I have a little bit of money, but it's just for $7 hot dogs. So not for the environment, just for artisanal hot dogs. That's all of my dispensable income goes to that. Sorry. I just wish one time I would run into a clipboard person who's just like a piece of shit. Like their idea is just terrible or something like, hey, we're trying to insert the Lord's Prayer into the Pledge of Allegiance. You can be like, no thanks, go fuck yourself. All right, I feel okay about this one. All right. Not everybody laughed at that one. Even if you're a fan of the Lord's Prayer, we could probably agree we don't want it in the Pledge of Allegiance. It'd make it really clunky. Just as a pledge, you can still be into both. I'm just talking from a design standpoint. It'd be an ugly pledge. All right. All right. I just wasted my whole time based off those screams I heard. Wasted? Does that waste? I made people laugh, but not in the way I wanted to, so it was a waste of my time, I guess. I've been flying a shit ton lately, so here come a bunch of plane jokes. Usually I'm like really calm when I fly because I've done it so often. I just like chill out and go to sleep or whatever. But every now and then I get terrified before a flight, and it's always when I encounter this flight attendant, and it's like a different person, but it's the same person, They look different, but it's the same brain going on upstairs. And this is like right before the flight. They'll be like, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for choosing to fly with us today on our trip to... Seattle. It's like, do you not know where we're going? Holy shit. Your job has a few key differences from a vending machine, and you're blowing it. Something about grabbing that microphone will turn the smartest person into just jelly. The shit. Another thing that they say all the time, they're like, ladies and gentlemen, this is an extremely full flight. Well, full denotes a full plane. You can just say full, every seat is filled. If it's extremely full, are we sitting on laps or something? Are there just like people overflowing out of the plane? Like we'll deploy the slides and we'll just hang on to the loops and you'll take off? You can just say full. That's what that word means. It's to the top. It's to the brim when it's full. That's how language works. There's no such thing as extremely full. That's pointless. I was on a flight once, and it was coming into land, and the flight attendant came on the PA system, and she's like, ladies and gentlemen, we've begun, we're going down. And appropriately enough, everyone was like, what? 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 She's like, to land. We're going down to land. I didn't get a lot of sleep last night. She just shared that last detail with us. And I was like, cool. Again, you're only screwing up one of the most important facets of your job, not instilling the passengers with dread. No big deal. Not a big deal. As if that would ever work as a passenger, like if I got out of my seat and I was like, hey, everybody, I got a bomb. Shit, I said that wrong. I got really bombed last night. I didn't get a lot of sleep. That's cool, though, right? That's cool. No, that's not cool. You're the last to be zip-tied in that porta potty with an air marshal's knee in your shit. You'd be done. I have a pro tip for terrorists. If there's any terrorists in the room, there's usually one or two. Go grab a cocktail napkin, jot this tip down. Quit trying to put bombs on planes. Planes already pretty scary, right? I think we can all agree. Shit just falls off of planes. Like the landing gear, the tail section just falls off. It's already really scary. Even a seasoned flyer will admit, yeah, there's something pretty terrifying about what's happening here. A bomb just makes a scary thing a little bit scarier. Here's the idea. Bombs at security. Security is pretty annoying as it is. Now you made it terrifying? Holy shit. And then what do we have to do? Like a security checkpoint to get to the security checkpoint? You've just doubled the unpleasantness? You could just keep working backwards. So as soon as I so much as click orbits on my computer, a bomb goes off in the driveway. I'm like, fuck it, I'm not leaving. I'm not going anywhere. I'm just staying home. You win. They keep changing the shoe rules at the airport. First, it was kids, go ahead and leave your shoes on. Kids, probably no shoe bombs. We'll roll the dice on that, right? Go ahead, kids, leave them on. Just recently they changed it. Old people, 75 and up, go ahead and leave those shoes on. Because that shit takes fucking forever. And let's be honest, if they had a shoe on, they'd probably forget to detonate it before. They're usually out before takeoff. It's usually nap time, right off the bat. Every time, they just keep landing like, son of a bitch! I forgot they have to keep reusing the same pair of bomb shoes over and over again. They just end up buried in them. But nobody knows they got buried with bomb shoes in it. A lot of my friends hate going through TSA. That's the hardest part of their day because they lead such a magical, luxurious lifestyle that's something that they love to complain about. Like, you gotta take your shoes off? It's bullshit. Yeah, who gives a shit? How lazy are you? You already take your shoes off once a day. This is 2 times. This would be the second time you'd have to do that in a day. Like, who gives a shit? Did you go flying in like 24-hole hiking boots? Can you not plan ahead for a trip? Wear flip-flops, kick them off, put them in your back pocket. Just stroll through. Somebody surprise you with a trip the day you're wearing like thigh-high rubber boots. Like, oh, this is inconvenient. What I want to do next time I go to the airport, no shoes at all in the airport, right? I'll just stroll around. People are like, who's this casual son of a bitch? Oh my God, you guys are having a hard time with your shoes? Yeah, I didn't wear mine in. Last time I was here, I wore hip waders. I got fucked in line. I don't know why I gave myself a man voice for that scenario when you already know what I talk like. You already know this is my real voice. But when I'm at the airport, I talk like a man. I don't know how that works. I don't know. People hate the body scanner. I have friends who refuse to go through the body scanner. Like, you gotta stand on the machine that sees you naked. Like, first of all, the machine was not invented to see you naked. That's not what it's for. It's just invented to find dangerous shit. You being naked is like an unpleasant side effect of what the machine does. If they could have invented that machine to find dangerous shit and somehow superimpose undies on you, that's what they would have done, definitely. I don't know if you've seen the physique of the average American traveler, but it's probably no treat to spend 8 hours a day just looking at these sullen, corpulent bodies making an X shape. Like, this is fucking ridiculous. Just crushed junk after crushed junk. Like a handful of cocktail shrimp and a pube net. Ugh, God. It's no wonder TSA agents are so weird. They have the shittiest job ever, basically. I feel like everybody would be cool with that body scanner if it just wolf whistled you when you walked through. Like you walk through and it's like, and like, hey, thanks. Maybe just dudes, because it'd be novel for them, because they don't get harassed by that bullshit all day. For women, you could just have like a catty voice saying like, I hate that bitch. And they'd be like, yes, yes. Then everybody'd be into it. 0 complaints. Just a self-esteem boost right before your flight. Right before you're shoehorned right in with somebody. I hate flying in and out of DIA. We have the coolest looking airport in the whole country. It's amazing. It looks like a space tent or something. It looks great. That's the only cool thing about it, is the looks. Every time I land at DIA, I gotta walk downstairs and get on that fucking musical train, like, boo-doo-doo-ba-doo-doo, welcome to Denver, I'm 6. Hoop, hoop. This shit is so ridiculous. It doesn't even make sense, because it'll be like, ba-doo-doo-doo, a train is approaching. No shit, why don't you just tell me a train is approaching? I can actually handle my announcements straight. I don't need a fucking blues riff to lube me up. Like, hey, yokel, you dumb hayseed. I know you can't just process information, so we like to give you a musical cue to let you know there'll be speaking happening soon. Oh, God. That's the only musical airport I've ever been to in the whole country. I haven't been to every airport, but I've been to basically every big airport. And anywhere else you fly, it's like, hey, welcome to Dallas-Fort Worth. Just get your shit and get out. We're all adults here. And me being from Denver, I'm like, oh, I'm sorry, is there a train coming? I missed that. We don't just bark 'em at you where I'm from. Maybe lube me up with a little pan flute first. I'll just start warming myself up and keep a kazoo in my back pocket. whenever I'm at a train terminal, just in case one's coming. It's a different culture where I'm from. I was on a plane recently, and the woman sitting next to me was reading a book on her iPad. So I was also reading her book on her iPad. Because I'm a snoop like Adam. Adam and I, same type of traveler, just creepy assholes, basically. So I'm reading her book over her shoulder, and I was like, this is the shittiest book I've ever read in my life. Like, and I've read some real garbage before. And I'm like, this takes the cake. What is this? Is this like her own novel that she wrote? This is garbage. So I looked up and I saw the title, and I was wrong. It's a real book, and a really famous book, like the most famous book, called 50 Shades of Grey. And I was like, fuck, this is that book? The worst book I've ever Eves read in my life is also the most popular book? I was like, fuck. But I want to share the passage with you that blew my mind open right there on the plane, and in fact made me make a noise, which is sort of the cardinal rule of Eves reading. No noises. You know, like no, I was choking on my Fresca. Jesus. Here's the passage. Don't worry, it's not racy, just super stupid. I always try to get all sobered up before I do it, like it's serious, but it's impossible. Okay. His voice was warm and husky like dark chocolate melted fudge caramel. Or something. Or something? You're the fucking author! That's part of your job when writing a book, is making those tough calls at the end of a sentence. I mean, what does a voice sound like? Well, granted, it sounds like a delicious dessert. I think we can all agree on that. But what else? I'm stumped. I wish the rest of the book would have been written in that same style. Like, he lived in a house or an apartment, I'm not really sure, Whatever you guys imagine's cool. I trust you. I trust you guys. It's like a partially filled out Mad Libs turned into a novel, but partially filled out by 11-year-old boys. Like, boobs. It'd be great if like classic works of literature had been written by that same artist. So we could have great opening lines like, call me Ishmael, maybe. or it was the best of times, it was okay, I don't know, I didn't really apply any critical thought to it. And that does it for the plane jokes. If you've never ridden on a plane, welcome back to the show. We'll do some other stuff. I got divorced at the beginning of this year. Whoop, 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 whoop. The police siren sound? That's fitting. Okay. I think that was an aborted enthusiastic whoop. It was, nobody else? Okay. Just doing a turkey call instead. I agree. You're not sure. Should you be enthusiastic? I only told you I got divorced. I haven't divulged anything else. I could start crying. You could be like, woo! And I'm like, oh God, it's the worst time of my life. And you'd be like, well, that backfired on me horribly. I'll tell you what sound most people make. They don't make that sound. Most people always make this sound. They always go, aww, when I tell them. They always make that sound, aww, which is the exact sound you'd make if you saw a kitten fall into a toilet, right? Like a cute kitten playing on a toilet seat, whoop, into the toilet bowl, you'd be like, ah, get that kitten out of there. Also, divorce, applicable to both, and only those two things. You would never make that sound. And like if your friend fell down the stairs and got really hurt, you would be like, oh, dude, fuck you, come help me. It makes me want to start messing with people when I give them the news. So I can be like, yeah, I don't know if you heard or not, but Natalie and I decided to get divorced. I'm like, oh. I'm like, yeah, because it turns out she's a murderer. And then they have to somehow rewind that sound effect, like, well, good. I think you made the right choice. Or they just do whatever you did. I wish I had a good reason for my divorce. That'd be great. I don't have any good reason for my divorce. I can't believe the garbage that falls out of my mouth. I actually told this to a friend as a reason for getting divorced. I was like, well, you know what? It turns out we're just two different people. Am I the author of 50 Shades of Grey? Is that a fucking reason for getting divorced? Being two physically distinct people? Is that a reason for breaking things off? Like we were two people in one giant person suit? Like we had some sort of like 7-foot-tall, 400-pound giant costume we were going around fooling people in? And then one day she's like, you know what? I just can't live this lie anymore. Zip! And like jumped out. I'm like, come on, baby, get back in the giant person suit. I think we were fooling people. And then all of our mutual friends are just confused. They're like, hey, whatever happened to Kevin? Kevin, the obese giant, Kevin? Oh, you know what? Turns out they're just two different people the whole time. Oh, okay, that's a good reason. I mean, the only good reason. Sometimes I forget that I'm divorced. That's a weird phenomenon, right? Usually I remember because I'm like playing with Legos and eating pizza and doing whatever the fuck I want with my time. So I'm like, yeah, I'm divorced, living like a 12-year-old boy whose parents are never coming home ever again. The weirdest lifestyle ever. But sometimes I forget, and I think that I've lost my wedding ring, which is so weird. Like I'll just be walking down the street and be like, oh, shit, I lost my wedding ring. I lost my wedding ring somewhere. And I'm like, oh yeah, I did, in a conversation, as it turns out. That's where that went, that pesky wedding ring. My ex and I have a 4-year-old daughter together to help ease her into the transition of our divorce. We got her some kids' books on divorce. And if you're curious which kids' book on divorce is the most depressing, the answer is all of them. It's a 75-way tie, as it turns out. Here's the weird thing, though. All these kids' books on divorce feature animals. Apparently, human being divorce, too depressing. Kids, not interested. So they use animals, which is really unfair to me because animals don't get divorced. That's like a stupid human invention like marriage. Animals don't have that problem. Animals either like fuck and leave, like tigers, right? It's like, hey, see you around. She's like, probably not. I think you're gonna walk 100 miles away and start a new family. I've done this before, but thank you. Thank you for trying. Or animals mate for life, and they're monogamous, and they're great at it, which is so impressive to me. Like, think of how cool that is to be a monogamous goose. Because if I was a goose, I would fuck so many other geese. Mainly because I couldn't tell who was who. Mainly. Like I'm saying, she looked just like you. Well, I'm not stopping to check leg band numbers in the heat of the action. It started with a 3, so I went for it. She's like, we all start with 3s. But somehow they just know. Only you are enjoying this joke. Okay, cool. You and me. We'll talk more about it afterward. We'll do some other stuff. Cool, thanks. Hey, how about a big round of applause for your wait staff and sound staff and everyone who works here ever in the history of this place. Sweet. I did CrossFit recently for the first and last time of my life ever. If you've never done CrossFit, it's all the fun of going to a Serbian forced labor camp, minus the cool story of how you got into a Serbian forced labor camp. Like the whole time I was like, am I in fucking trouble with somebody? This is bullshit. I always look for the applicable skill in any exercise. Like running, applicable skill, getting away from dangerous shit. As a lifetime coward, that's really important to me. Like being chased by an animal or a robber or something, running, great for that. So now after doing CrossFit, applicable skill, if I'm ever being chased by wolves and I'm holding my 40-pound daughter in my arms, and we come to a barn, and the only entrance to the barn is a small window on the second story, I can layup throw my daughter up and through the window to safety before I'm devoured by wolves. But it's good to know I've got that in me. Just once. I've only got one layup in me, it turns out. But it's good to know. I also do a lot of yoga. Applicable skill in yoga, holding in a fart for an hour. At this point, my intestines are like the most talented balloon animal artist. Any shape you want, anything you want. Crazy poodle with a heart headdress? Yes, I can do that. I'm doing that for you right now. I have a problem, though. I have the fartiest yoga mat ever made. Like any moisture on your body, this yoga mat reproduces like Foley caliber fart sounds. Like I can't believe that's not what it was created for. Like that's how good these fart sounds are. You know the factory that makes like fake vomit and all that kind of and prank garbage? I feel like they made this yoga mat and I just didn't read the packaging. Like, farty yoga mat. Like, embarrass your friends with this $80 joke. Do y'all like missed connections? I love missed connections. I love reading them. Some of them are like kind of romantic. Some are just depressing and creepy. And I was like, I've never been in a misconnection. And then I thought about my life. And I was like, I think I've been in shitloads of misconnections if I look at it from my end. So I wrote some misconnections from my life that I'll share with you all right now. Don't worry, there's not a lot. If you hate misconnections, go pee. It's only going to be 1 minute. All right, here's some misconnections from my life that I just discovered upon inspecting my life. You, friendly, attractive woman I went out to dinner with who had a lot of interesting things to say that I faded out on. Me, spent entire dinner wondering if I have enough Lego pieces to build a scale replica Pacific Rim Jaeger. There's only 3 more, don't worry. You, great lady who came on to me pretty strong at a bar. Me, terrified of intimacy. No, thank you. No, thank you. And I'll just do one more. You, super pretty woman who gave me a bunch of unsolicited astrology advice. Me, not into that shit at all, but thank you. Thank you. Okay. Misconnections for you. I do like Legos a lot, and people will often make fun of me, and they wonder how much I like Legos. I have a bunch of Legos, but that's not impressive. I'm a grown-up, and I can buy whatever I want with my money. That's not impressive at all. But what's impressive about how much I like Legos is that I have this really big Lego castle that's been discontinued for a long time. And how I got that Lego castle is a woman that I know offered it to me. She was like, hey, I have an extra Lego castle. Do you want it? It's worth like $400. And I said, yeah, I do want it, but I don't know how I would pay for it. She's like, well, we'll work something out. We'll figure something out. So I happened to be over to her house, and she gave me the Lego castle. And I was like, yeah, I don't know how I'm gonna pay you for this. It's worth $400. She's like, we'll work something out. So I took the Lego castle, and then one night we were having a text conversation, and I was like, you know what? I don't think I'm ever gonna have $400 to give you for this castle. I'm just being honest. And she responded, well, maybe you can just be my sex slave for an hour. And I'd like to tell you that I immediately responded with, that's hilarious. Anyway, Let's talk about something else. But in reality, it took me about 3 minutes to then make that reply. But there were like 3 minutes where I was like, it's an hour of sex. What's the big deal? Like, look, I've had sex for an hour with somebody for way less than a $400 Lego castle. This is a really good deal when I think about it. And I was like, dude, you're considering prostituting yourself for toys, just to make sure you actually understand what's happening here. You would be a prostitute for a children's toy, a building toy, in fact, meant to enrich the mind. You would be a prostitute for, and then how would I ever look at that castle and never remember what I did for it, ever? Like, that castle, I fucking hate that castle. Just don't even look at it. I just have to sell it immediately. So, anyway, some of you were hoping that I'd actually done it. No. I didn't. I don't know how long Virgil wanted me to do. Virgil's gone. Okay. Perfect. Another hour? No, it's hot up here, and we have a great musical band. One person excited about the band. Cool. Well, everybody else will be excited afterward. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. During the day, I hang out with my 4-year-old daughter. Her name's Amelia. She's pretty great. Hanging out with the 4-year-old is awesome because they're down to do anything as long as you just make it sound really fun. That's the key. It's all in the tone. You're like, yeah, you want to go to Costco? Yeah! Costco? Woo! She's like, yeah! She's losing her shit. She has no concept of where we're actually going. No idea at all. It's going to be a horrible day when that flips in her head so she actually realizes what I'm talking about. So I'm like, yeah, you want to go to Costco? She's like, fuck Costco. I'm like, well, my little girl's 5. They grow up so fast. My daughter has the most amazing worldview of anyone I've ever encountered. Like, I know some optimists, but like, my daughter's glass is extremely full. To put it in flight attendant terms, my daughter's glass is extremely full when it comes to her optimism. Case in point, I had to take her to a restroom in a restaurant, in a public restroom. One of the treats of being a single dad is getting to take an innocent 4-year-old girl into some of the most unimaginable hellscapes on earth. Thanks, guys. Thanks for all the hard work you do in there. Cool. Always a treat. So I take her in this bathroom, and we encounter a toilet in a stall that, to put it kindly, has been upholstered in shit. It is disgusting. Whoever said, oh, gross, nailed it. That's exactly how it was. It was so disgusting. And I was like, oh, Jesus. And my daughter saw that, and she turned to me, and she goes, whoa, did somebody throw a chocolate cake in there? And I was like, fuck, that's your first guess? I've never been more jealous of anyone in my entire life. That's your first guess. But then as an adult, as a cynical adult, I can even run that scenario in my head. And I have to tell you, there's no good reason a chocolate cake would be in a toilet. Like, how did that come about? Like, hey, you want your cake? Eat it out of the fucking toilet. Like, best case scenario, you'd be like, hey, guys, turns out there was poison in the cake. Don't worry, I took care of it. It's in the toilet. That's as good as that would get. So I just kind of laughed, and I was like, no, it's not. And she goes, oh, is it diarrhea? Whoa, back up. So you know what diarrhea is, and you're still guessing chocolate cake. That's optimism. You're like, odds are against it. But maybe somebody didn't eat 12 candles. We'll see. An even better example would be, we went swimming, and I was holding my daughter up in my arms while we were waiting to go down this water slide. And as I was holding her, she peed on me. And I was like, wow, did you just pee on me? And she said, yeah, but I'm fine. And I was like, oh, cool. Just making sure you were cool with what happened. Making sure this transaction worked out all right for you. And that's when I realized that's this magical time in your life where the world is so much about you that it's about chocolate cakes and toilets. And if you accidentally pee on somebody and they call you on it, you think they're just like looking into your health. You think they're just genuinely concerned for you. Are you passing a stone? Are you all right? That's amazing. Try that tonight. Get shit hammered tonight. You don't have to, but it's really going to lubricate the experiment. Just get ripped tonight and then just pee on a friend. Yeah, just hose them down. If you do it on the 16th Street Mall, nobody will even look twice. Just pee on a buddy. I'm like, what the fuck? Did you just pee on me? Like, yeah, I'm fine. Relax, Randy. It was easy. Like, they would be so pissed, but they'd have to take a break to be like, that's some confidence. And then beat the shit out of you. All right, I'm going to get out of you guys. Thanks so much for supporting the Grateful Social Club, which isn't even a thing. The Greater Than Social Club. And enjoy Esme Patterson and her band.